Tripentral it has been around since about 2003, but I started in travel in 1989
Ah,
from scratch, and I am a travel agent. I was a travel agent. I don't do that much of it anymore, but if I had to, I could probably do a ticket exchange. So I'm one of the few leaders in the travel business that's actually done it and understands what our agents have to go through day to day.
right, right.
And so we built a whole bunch of systems and technology around making the job easier, making it faster, um, much more marketing. And it's developed over 3 decades and millions of dollars of development. And so what we're looking for is agents that can sell. They like to sell. And we do a lot of the administration and a lot of the paperwork and a lot of the checking and double checking and things like that for them. And so we really evolved from splitting the role of a travel agent from a somebody that has to be everything. They have to be persuasive and empathetic and a good listener and a good and all of that in terms of being a good salesperson. But then they also need to be detail oriented, process oriented, careful, and some of those things contradict. So we split the roles and we built a lot of tools to support sales agents in being able to achieve very big numbers in terms of sales. But we had 26 offices. We were traditional full service agencies that have this busy website that generates a lot of leads and a lot of phone calls, especially in high season.
Right. And that's what I find so interesting. I think it was about 15 years ago we came to visit you in Hamilton and you showed us the system, the computer system that you developed, the booking system. And it was so intuitive that even I could probably have made a booking on it, even though I'm certainly not capable that way. And that I think came from your background at being a frontline agent, correct?
A frontline agent with a business degree that asks questions like a 5-year-old and drives everybody crazy. Why are we
Right.
doing it that way? Why is it done
Right.
that way? That's crazy. And I mean, a lot of the tools were developed because I faced the kind of inquiries that were vague, that would take a tremendous amount of research time if you literally did what the customer asked you to do, and develop these tools that do it much, much faster. And I myself am one to kind of cut some corners and maybe delay things and procrastinate a little bit. So we built a whole bunch of guardrails around great salespeople that need support in making sure that they don't make mistakes and don't forget things. And so in this way, you can operate at a very high volume at Trip Central.
So you're looking for people who know how to sell. So they have to know the product.
Well, we're looking for people that know how to sell, but here's one of the interesting things the pandemic's done to us. We end up canceling and rebooking and canceling and doing all these things much more than we ever did. And we're always concerned about making sales and making that efficient. We've invested a lot of money and time on future travel credit management, the refund management, changing files. And we've also separated some of the functions because the hold time is what killed us in during the pandemic and during the winter. And we know it's not going to go away this fall and winter. So the whole time we started developing a system to separate some clerical functions and administrative functions from files and to try to take that away from agents again so they could spend time with their customers rather than waiting on hold to do some of these functions. So we're also looking for experienced agents that can help us in a support role in terms of helping our agents be, complete changes and modifications. And we have a system now that we can quantify that, which we never had before. It was always a challenge. We could easily measure sales, but how do you measure how much time somebody's spending servicing a file or the quality of that service? We now have a system in place where we'll be able to reward and recognize people that are doing service for our customers and helping our agents. So we're looking for a number of roles. You may be experienced and not a hotshot seller, but you were a good agent. Maybe you can help us in a support function, or you're a hotshot seller and that's what you prefer to do. And boy, we need those too.
So we need hotshot sellers. We need people in support functions. Complete sense. I like it. In terms of what they're selling and your positioning in the marketplace, you position yourself as an online as a .ca, but you are a hybrid model, correct? And basically specializing in the mass market, but not just the mass market, or you define the mass market more broadly speaking than just ITC packages to the south. So I'm sort of mixing two questions there, but I think that it leads to sort of one answer.
Yeah, I think the best way to think of Trip Central is like the keg. The keg is mass market, but it's a nice place. It's good quality. Nobody, it's not. So, what do you mean by mass market? The mass leisure customer in Canada buys cruises and tours and vacation packages and FITs. We don't do a lot of corporate travel. We do some. We get our share of luxury, but we're not. I want bread with my butter, right? So we market to the mass market to get the sales. We also have some high-end suppliers that we use. So it's a lot of packages and cruises and tours and leisure tickets. And we are trying to upsell them to premium economy and business class. The thing I want to point out is that we're not a sweatshop, we're not a bucket shop, we're not a call center, discounting on low margin to try. So people might assume because we're online that we're that. We're not. We're very much a full service retail travel agency that has the advantage of getting online leads and phone calls that a traditional agent doesn't have.
Now, when we talk about you being mass market smart and allowing the advisor to do a lot of volume, maybe explain that to us in a little bit more detail.
Okay, so it started off where we separated the role of a travel agent. We took away some clerical functions, like our agents do not check their own tickets when they come in and send them to customers. We have a team that specializes in that. Now, when all that you do all day, you're much more careful. It's a second set of eyes checking things over. And when the tickets go out, they get sent out with the agent's email. So it looks like the agent sent them out, and any replies are going to come to them. Our agents don't handle sched changes. We may have, when we were overwhelmed and there wasn't a lot of sales, we pulled some people off to sort of help with that. And so we manage and prioritize the sched changes, decide, which ones are the highest risk. And the only time we get the agent involved is if there's, a misconnect or some big change, or there's an opportunity that there might be a refund where they want to interact with a customer. We send timed emails out after booking to make sure customers are getting the right information at the right time, including check-in, park and fly coupons, little silly things that maybe agents spend time on. And all of this is done with the personal touch. We always want it to come from the agent. So a lot of this is kind of semi-automated. It makes sure that agents are consistent, like the keg, on time at the right time, and then they have more time to spend with their customers. So this is how we make the mass market smart, is that we have a whole team of people and automation and software that is actually specifically designed for Canadian leisure travel and executing that well. And I think it shows in our online reviews. Our customers love it. We have great online reviews, and consumers are often surprised at the level of service they're getting when they call a website.
Right. Interesting. That makes a lot of sense. Richard, before I let you go, I want to ask you, what potential are you seeing for the retail market in the future? I mean, we've gone through such a bumpy ride. Where do you see us in 23 and 24?
Well, I see this to be a challenging late 22 and 23 again, with the staff shortages at our supplier partners. There's still uncertainty. We could still face some bumps in the fall and winter. We don't know that. The pandemic's not over. Hopefully, not. And also, I think we have a playbook now that if something does go awry with travel restrictions, there was a tourism and hospitality subsidy that was there. And that's why it's good to be an employee now, because unfortunately, the ICs got left out of that.
Yeah.
Right. So we're looking for full-time agents, support agents. We have an IC program. We started developing that in earnest during the pandemic. And that's an option. But really, we're looking for, we have a lot of calls to answer. There's a lot of demand out there. Luckily, we have the website that can take a lot of that extra business and our agents are supporting that. And also, they've got their own clientele, and they develop lots of clientele from leads from our website. So really bright opportunity. I think there's a lot of pent up demand. The Pearson situation and the airport situation in general, particularly Pearson, there's a lot of people that delayed travel again. So I think we have a bright 23, 24 ahead of us.
You've got a great story to tell, and I'm sure we could probably keep talking about a lot more, because I love hearing how you developed the business and the mindset that you had going into it, and certainly a little bit of brain power and smarts didn't hurt.
Well, we try to make it easy for the agents to sell. I mean, I'll give you one other example too. We have a system that monitors price changes and alerts prospects of changes in price, and all this goes automatically from the agent. We have a system that they can save their research electronically, so they can refer back to it later. I
Wow.
mean, there's so many things in our system that make it very powerful. It takes a while to figure it out. There's no question. But many times we've hired people that worked in traditional agencies that within a year or two, increased their sales, sometimes doubled their sales. And with the higher sales per agent, what does it mean? More pay, more FAMs, more travel opportunities, more hotel points, more, you name it. It
Right.
just feeds on itself. And we market our agents' experience. So you start to get phone calls for products and hotels and destinations that you're familiar with, which also makes it easier to sell.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me. I'm applying as soon as we're done.
I think
Thanks, Richard.
the other thing to
Yeah.
note is that we were constrained because we had these retail offices. We had the challenge of, I need a sales oriented person in Richmond Hill, and it's a mall location, so there's
Right.
so we don't have that anymore. We can hire people in rural Saskatchewan. We can hire people in, you name it. If you can sell, if you can support, if maybe your travel agency closed, maybe you've tried the IC thing and it's not for you. Who knows? I mean, give us a call.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Richard.
Okay. Thank you.